public present, we will proceed to our meeting. We have 5 items on the agenda today. Is there a motion to approve item 6.1, approval of the ratified memorandum of agreement between the district of Poughkeepsie Public School teachers? Is there a second? Second. Discussion. Having no discussion, can I call for a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Motion carried. Is there a motion to approve item 6.2, approval of the district's calendar for the 2026-2027 school year?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Is there a motion to approve item 6.3, approval of budget transfer?
So moved.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve item 6.4, adoption of the proposed 2006-2007 general fund balance?
So moved.
Is there a second? Discussion. One of the board members said there was going to be some discussion points. I'm going to ask all the board members if there's clarification questions about, since some of us are new and where this is in the budget or anything, could we do clarifications first? If anybody needs any clarification on the line items of where they are, and then we can move on and give the board members time to make other comments. Is that okay? All right.
I'd like to make a comment, President Creedon. I mean, it's just as a process in terms of board governance. Our previous meeting, if I recall right, was to review the budget. Typically, we schedule budget approval dates soon after. In terms of this process, I don't want to knock any board members' questioning of the budget, but just to put it on the floor that we did have a whole meeting to attend to the budget.
Yes, that's why I tried to break it out, because a few line items did change between the meeting. And I just wanted to do clarifications just based on, I know this is the third time through. So does anybody need any clarification?
Yeah.
All right. A name, Naomi?
My mic isn't working.
Can you guys hear me? No. This is the collection of the non.
It's the speakers are off. Just talk loud, Naomi.
My first one on the health services line.
I see a reduction. There's an reduction of $157,918. I'm curious as to what that means. Refers to what is the staffing model? It looks like RN within a couple of buildings, but we want to have a better.
Could you? What page is that on?
It's under health services.
I want to preface by saying the budget, that's, you all are asked to adopt this afternoon. There are no cuts and there are no services that are being reduced. One of the reasons why you will see an increase from last year, you know, a lot of the increases are due to the administrative costs, salaries, health insurance, charter school payments, as once stated. Also keep in mind while you're looking for the code is that a lot of the shifts that took place in this budget is due to the reconfiguration. So we had to write the size of each building while the students transferred. So do the supports for those students in the individual buildings. There are no cuts to nursing services or reduction to nurses services throughout the district.
It just page 26. It shows, it just breaks down the salaries, you know, by school nurse. You see the salaries, you see a decrease in all of the salary lines. For instance, it's a salary nurses reader. Last year, 67,948. This year, 37,000.
Is this on? Hello?
The
Can you hear me?
Mics aren't working.
They're not working.
No, the mic aren't at all. All right.
Okay.
Good speaker going.
Okay, so
The voices are coming through, but they're not coming through here.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
coming through to the
Yeah, Mr.
people
Brown,
who
mine-
have lined,
Mine works.
signed on to the meeting.
That is a typical model for how the. Where do you see that? Where do you see the grant line for the fund?
If I may interject, a lot of times that this district, there's no mic. Oh, it's on. This district, shares the grants and the Title I funds with us. Previous to this method, we never saw the Title I money or the grant money because it's not the requirement. This budget has to reflect back the property tax and our foundation funding. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. That's fine.
It was fine.
I don't know if that answers your question, Leo, but that's
It
why
doesn't explicitly because it just isn't apparent from the, you know, the document that's in
I-
front of us.
I understand. And all the Title I is it.
Uh,
which is a lot. Okay, thank you. Could we, from a percentage, what approximately would it help if we could give an approximation of the funds that aren't in the budget? Do we have any ballpark?
We traditionally haven't done it that way.
I know we haven't. but
We
that's right.
haven't. So I wouldn't want to give you a subjective percentage without having a grant in front of me to tell you specifically how much that would be.
And the Title I,
Correct.
right? So it's a sizable portion. of
Is there a way to see a predicted? So if you must have a predicted amount in mind, even if you don't know the exact numbers, is there a way to see that information?
I can give that to you. I don't have it right now. Is that what if you're looking for that, I don't have it right now in front of me.
Okay,
So it's really just,
Just keep going.
skip around. Move to tomorrow.
no, we already have them. We already have the grants. We have the grants. They're approved. We're spending the funds out of the grants to pay for those services. We have. So it comes down to, do we budget for the whole thing and then we have all this extra money at the end? Or do we be conservative and try to say, hey, we're gonna get some of these services that we're getting for the grant and then only budget for half of them? If the grants go away, then next year or year after, if they ever went away, then I gotta come up with, we gotta figure out a way how to fund the whole. So we have probably $3 million worth of money in salaries and grants. That's not reflected in here.
Grants go away, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yes. So why not budget for the whole thing, just in case grant goes away? Well, because grant not way in this budget,
Right. So we have a full year to manage that.
but say the grant goes away next budget, to go back
Yeah.
to this. My question is, why draw down so much?
Hold, I'm just making sure we have all the clarifications on the table and we could have,
Is that clarified?
yeah, he clarified it. So how-
Yeah, so, it's a matter of where else are we going, then where else are we cutting? If we add every FTE that we need in there, where else are we gonna cut? We're gonna start cutting staff? Like that's where the balance of it is, budgeting, balancing the budget. Like we have a certain percentage that we can get to, we have to get to the contracts, and then maintain all of the services that we have.
I just think it would be good to see that, whatever that proposed document is alongside this document. we
Okay.
Have a full picture of what's happening. Because if you just have this budget document in front of you, it's easy to perceive as a lot of cuts in certain areas. So if I can't align those with, oh, okay, there isn't a cut here, it's actually covered by this, then I can feel comfortable moving forward. But if I don't know
I can,
it's a magical fund that I don't know where things are going or to evaluate them.
I understand, I totally get that. You just have a pretty budget that way. And you, like, that product. Whoa, but the finance committee isn't discussing or disclosing what's happening. Finance, right? It's, so it's, if we find out, before, after the budget is created, so there are only two board members who are part of the finance committee, and the rest of us are not privy to what's happening in the finance committee, right? I don't even know what the finance committee, I don't know what's discussed in the finance committee meeting. The budget just came to us and we were kind of like, okay, I think like the last two budgets were on like the Excel sheet, right? And then there was a note side. And then each line, well, not each line, but most of the lines had like a note that we could reference, right? So like if I'm going out to the voters and they're looking at what I perceived as cuts, they might receive that cut, right? But if there was a note on the side, it's like, hey, actually, this is covered by the grant, then I can explain that to the public. I think this grant, this budget, it doesn't allow for us to have dialogue with taxpayers and us give them information that is accurate, because I can't tell. From what I saw a bunch of cuts, right? You're telling me that they're not cut. They're covered by the grant, but if I go and knock on someone's door and they're reading the budget, they're like, well, why'd you cut nurses? And I didn't know that it was being covered by the grant. I would have to say, like, I don't know why nurses were cut. That's a good question. I don't think nurses should be cut. There's not enough information for us to defend your budget when we're outside and knocking on doors, because as we're reading it, it looks like cuts, and you're saying they're not cuts, which I believe you, you're saying they're not cuts, but there's no way to show it, so when we're outside and explaining to folks, like, hey, these are not cuts, these are just covered by a grant.
Yeah, there's so many, again, there's so many issues, title grants. So,
Right.
I now. So, yeah.
I just want to be. I don't want to go out. I'd rather, I think, not, I'd rather tell them what it is. Instead of, I don't know.
Yes, it's maybe that I didn't hear, so each board member, each meeting we go to, it's always pointed out. Yes, I was looking at how it headed. Okay, and Silver's granularity only existed. So he brought that, it was like 1.5 years, 1 year. Prior to that, the funds didn't get this level of granularity. But yet, there is a, so I, some of the numbers. Our, our communication. So,
So that's how. That's also a website. Yeah.
And it should be I agree with Marge. Very well.
Right, and we did, is the thing. We did have, a meeting. There was a meeting that was dedicated completely to review the budget. It is space for the public to come. There is a public hearing after this vote. Board President, I don't know if you made mention that we are required to vote and pass a vote on the budget at a particular calendar date.
I explained the process.
Okay,
uh,
I didn't hear it, so,
Previous. Station,
okay.
and the way that.
And I just want to clarify a misinterpretation. So board committees are posted. When you look at board docs, there's a section for board committees. There are dates. Every board committee, in fact, is supposed to have minutes posted. Just for a point of clarity, the finance committee has not actually met much because we had a transition in leadership. So just a point of clarity on that. The most recent report out, that's why we have our business meetings. Because each of us as board members and our chairs is supposed to report out what those meetings, what happened and occurred in those meetings. So there is transparency and report outs as it relates to that.
That budget of last. I was out there flipping through the paper, trying to be, right? Or.
I passed out the budget March 18th, the same document that you have. That was a month ago. Yeah, and so like. Last week. I handed out a whole booklet on March 18th.
That's not going. There was. All right, yes.
Sure. A month. You're right. I handed out folders to each one of you at the table with that in there. Each had a blue folder with the budget in it on March 18th. March 18th. Yes, it was. Okay.
for my I want every time I it's a line item there that says there's line items in there that says budget or grant. Everything we voted on for a year. So I guess subconsciously I'm counting that up. With the community schools especially. In fact, I even went into in-depth conversations on the contract. What was software and what was community school down to that level. And we've had that conversation even on some of the curriculum work, which was percent grant and others that was in that negotiated curriculum line that we have with the teachers. And so, you know, some of that comes from the team and I have more budgets, but I truly believe both. What I would say is we're not reducing services with this budget. And I don't know, and if anybody has question on a line item, they can send it in and hopefully we can respond at the public hearing with specific questions that are there. But and what we have mailed out basically says our tax rate and property insurance. And I will point out that as we have this discussion, we do not have a commitment from the state. We don't even have our foundation aided.
Right.
All right. And so I'm just trying to balance all those moving parts. And I'm willing, and I plan to vote yes, because I've seen nothing unusual when I compare this to the last budget processes. I apologize, but you know, for saying it like that, but it's to me we really strive to deliver the same services and staff that we did.
Well said, Board President. I do want to just to underscore the point that I do understand the questions that are posed and the structure that's being asked. Percentage of money, salaries that are in grants. My response is simply that is challenging today for that. Had been given more time, we've been able to do that in preparation for today. I also want to emphasize that I do understand, but we do have to adopt the budget by the 24th.
Don't we have a meeting coming up that we could do a pie chart? The total.
No, I let Mr. Tuttle, if you could prepare to share with us, you know, I know by the 24th, we have to
Right, there's not the budget. Present to the community.
Are you referencing the public hearing?
Yes.
Yes, the public hearing is the 6th of May. There will be plenty of opportunities for our public to bring forth any questions they may have. And we will be here to address and answer those questions. And I will also say there was a website that they can go to. Becky can prepare to show that website to the whole. If they have any questions, they can pose those questions and we'll get those answers to them via a email response.
Mr. Mott, I think that the gaps that are being identified at this meeting is that it doesn't paint the picture of the budget in terms of outputs for this district. I think that a lot of the questions and would be normal questions for a new board member is what's the whole picture? So our budget as a responsibility as a board governance is to make sure that funds that we get from taxpayer and the state are appropriated correctly, right? But they're not being misappropriated in any fashion. I think the questions that I'm hearing being posed is that there are gaps in what is either being shifted or providing as zeros. So if there could be a complete picture of report out, I will say though, there have been report outs on it. I understand that as a new board member to sort of get your head around that. Lakai did do a full report on grants. But if you can lean on some of those previous meetings to show the full picture, I think that might be helpful.
Definitely something we will look for. On the sixth. That's reasonable.
I mean, some of these board presentations was already done. So you can look through the agendas. I can help support by pinpointing which agenda that was on. It's all public. No one's hiding anything. We can pull those reports back out and it's something for you to work from.
Very good. That'll support.
What level, I'm not argumentative. What level would make you feel comfortable? Is it a Venn diagram that says Title I in this? And shows the whole picture? Or is it down at the line item level of when we get a donation for our trips, we always think. That's
Yeah, and I think it's fair to say that there is no deviation in the process. You can go to any board meeting at any other school district, just for the record, because I want to be clear. I don't want it to be misinterpreted as the Poughkeepsie City School District is hiding anything because that wouldn't be accurate or fair, right? But just to be clear, there's no deviation in the process. However, identifying these gaps would be helpful just to, anytime we can educate people, I think it's worth doing that.
Board would like, I would host a workshop for anybody any taxpayer that wants to come in and review the budget. We can do it tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, Saturday morning.
Mr. Tuttle, but I think what I keep hearing glaringly is that wherever there's an item that says a zero, it's raising concerns that it's not being paid for. And so just to identify that at minimum is what I'm hearing. And then it sounds like at some point, a report out, and we've done this in the past, what grants cover, have it available so that it could be reviewed.
So what I'll say, a lot of the zeros in this budget, if it's was miscoded in the wrong budget code. And so I moved into another allocation within the right budget code. We have to align the budget codes up to the ST3 up at the state. And a lot of the budgets now, that makes a lot more work for us after the audit. We've seen the audit reports, right? They look good. But we're trying to clean up all of those things that are happening, all the transactions. So if it's a zero, yeah, it's been moved. The nurses were in community school or the librarians were in community schools.
That's right.
That's not a code for librarians. Right? So we're assuming everything was correct last year, right? And it may not be. So everything I feel after all the years of experience doing this, I have them in the right codes. And well, I don't. I have to be honest with you, Jamal. I have to be honest with you. I
Oh.
came in January
I hear what you're saying.
and I didn't come into a fair fight to get this done. I'm gonna tell you right now. No, I'm just saying to have all the detail and specificity, like it is a lot of effort, like to go through and balance this. Okay. Yeah.
No, we did know. But it was reported. That's why I want to be careful about misinterpretations. There was a report out on that. Excellent.
I don't want people to say that we're doing anything nefarious, we're hiding things, cutting services. But if you just look at this for face value, that's what it looks like. And I just want to be able to defend this in public. I'm not saying the budget is, y'all do anything wrong. I'm just saying that if I, as a normal person who doesn't know anything, right, who's just walking in, looking at a budget, it looks like cuts. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anything is hidden or you guys are lying about anything. It just looks like cuts. So if you explain to me why there's zeros there, when I knock on the door and someone is very passionate about librarians, I can say, hey, no, actually, we didn't get rid of the librarians. They were miscoded on the community schools and we put them on the correct code and they're here in the budget. That's all. That's all. That's the specificity that I'm asking for. That's it. I just want to be able to defend this in public. And I think sometimes everyone thinks I'm ready to burn the building down when I'm really not. I'm really trying to protect us all.
Right, but there, I mean,
we
but
talked
fair
about-
is fair. If you look at the community schools grants and the report out that was done on it, the librarians were placed there. Some of these folks were placed there and allocated there.
But we-
Again, because, you know, if you have been a sitting board member for a while, you know that there have been repeated report outs for that. It's available to the public at any time. It's really a challenge to bring it all together, given the density that's involved in all this work. But I just, fair is fair, this report outs have been done and the information is readily available.
It
as
is
well.
readily available. Yes, the information is readily available. But how many parents come to our board meetings? How many parents come and engage at our board meetings and listen to our board meetings? 3, right? So that's a high number. Now, how many are watching? How many have time to, they're not, as much as the information is available, yes, it's available, but we have to sometimes feed the information to the folks. That's all I'm saying. I want to be able to feed the information to these folks because they're asking me the questions. If I can't feed them, then it looks as if we are hiding something, and I know we're not doing that. I'm only coming to you as the person who's, Mr. Mine, I text you a lot of times because I hear things in the community. And it's not as a, hey, I want to attack you. It's like, hey, I just heard this. I want to give you a heads up because I just heard this. So a lot of times when I'm addressing things like, hey, I got a question about this. Someone asked me a question and I couldn't answer it. So somebody want to explain to me so that I can explain to the public. It's not that I'm really trying to protect us as a whole. I'm out knocking on doors every day after work. So I'm getting the questions. People are asking me about summer camp. People are asking me about this. And I can't answer a lot of the questions because I don't have all the information. So I'm not saying this was nothing nefarious was done or anything like that. But if I have questions, then that means there's 1,000 other people in the community who probably have more questions than I.
So the one takeaway I would take away, if you're talking to community members, if we had to go to a contingency budget, if they voted no on the budget, that's about 14 positions. So that's something. No, I'm not saying you. I'm saying if you're talking
Right.
to the community, and I mentioned that a couple times, I'm just saying that's the ramifications
That's reality.
for them.
That's their decision to make.
Yeah.
Right, but then it would hurt our kids. And that's the thing, that when you're sitting, you know, when you have the fiscal right, but until it happens and then the budget gets voted down and then you realize, ooh, probably not the good path to go.
boathouse lease is 51 to 65. Right, and Great Adventure is that curriculum is when they feel somebody says, show me where the 21st century ran. Curriculum. That's, I know where that it's being done, but I can't say if that's a line item in after curriculum or it's a part of the 21st century. Yeah, and I don't. I feel that it's fairly obvious we did everything not to cut service and try and make this year back to like. Reports come out of how we're doing versus spending. And I feel there's gonna be some money left over, hoping to, but nobody said it's going to happen, but I can feel it. That's why I'm supporting this. Because it would be nice to go into next year, play. Really more nervous about that's Title I. State level. Because they tell us we gave you more money. The small city school says we're getting this more money. We get the same 2% that Whoppers line back to everybody. We never got money. But it's yeah. That's where to me, this looked like solid. Faith that but dead bodies of money missing or surplus of spent. Little time. Or maybe it's art. Like Jess question. Asked to pay. Third staff. Service. After side list basic cashiers, I thought total. I have a motion to pull Thursday.
Second,
Roll call.
Ms. Felicia Marquez,
I'm not voting no because I'm shooting it down. I just don't have enough information to move forward. So
Mr. Cummings,
Yes.
Ms. Martinez Santiago,
yes.
Mr. Creedon,
Yes.
motion carried.
Thank you. I think it's a great budget. I approve. Thank you all, everyone. All right, I have to go to. Is there a motion to approve item 6.5, approval of fiscal year 2026-27 property tax report?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Mott, comment? Team.
I think you missed, board member Fincham Marquez. Okay. Esta noche, la Junta Directiva Escolar de la serie de Poughkeepsie llevó a cabo una reunión especial con el propósito principal de adoptar el presupuesto general del año escolar 2026-2027. La Junta también aprobó el calendario escolar, una transferencia presupuestaria y la tarjeta de informe del impuesto a la propiedad para el próximo año fiscal. Agradecemos a la comunidad con su continuo apoyo y interés en la educación de nuestros estudiantes. El presupuesto escolar es un plan financiero que permite al distrito operar cada año. El proceso comienza con la administración del distrito desarrollando una propuesta basada en las necesidades educativas de los estudiantes. La Junta de Educación revisa, ajusta y finalmente adopta el presupuesto en una reunión oficial. En Nueva York, el presupuesto propuesta también se presenta a la comunidad para su voto en mayo. Si un propuesto aprobado, el distrito no puede pagar a los maestros, mantener los edificios, proveer materiales educativos y ofrecer los servicios esenciales que nuestros estudiantes necesitan. Es la base que sostiene todo lo que ocurre dentro de nuestras escuelas. Como padres y madres, nadie abogará por sus hijos con más fuerza y dedicación que ustedes. Su voz importante, su presencia importante. Los invitamos a mantenerse informados, asistir a las reuniones de la Junta y participar activamente en las decisiones que afectan el futuro de sus hijos. La participación de la comunidad en este proceso no es opcional, es fundamental. Juntos construiremos una comunidad escolar más fuerte. Que Dios esté con nosotros, porque si no estamos pendientes, otros dirigirán un camino lleno de obstáculos que podrá ser extremadamente difícil para el futuro de nuestros hijos. Manténganse unidos, informados y activos. Muchas gracias.
I'd like to thank all the staff members who did it. We've been it on time. I'd like to say there's a lot of changes going, and out that and they're great kids. They're special. This budget tries to keep back that we can. Continual success, but we're taking harder looks at those things. Mr. Mott said, look at what's working. What is quickly. And there's so much construction go on, you know, in the middle school or other places, you know, we're still have to finish that work. To be, to be even proud of, or of this, but if any, I know Jamar's out there as MCs, you know, I'm going to Philadelphia with the kids and collecting money for 501Cs to make sure they still, they're Philadelphia. Well, with, most support and everybody's really chipped in. I don't remember a time we were better relations with our union. Really trying forward. Thank you all. If you have any questions, just send me an email, call me on the phone, I walk my dog. South side. 8:30, right? Buttonhole me as I walk by, all right, and don't be afraid to ask. Okay? But I will say, we have to make sure back that ballot points made, that we take away people. Surprise me. Much. That said, I have to get Mark to his next meeting on, so the city of Poughkeepsie. I have a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Good job.